Thank you for joining us for another edition of Skylander Insider. I am your host for tonight, Tyrone Williams. On tonight's episode, we will take a look at the Save a Life tour that visited our campus, but first, our coverage of the depression screening that was in D building. At the depression screening, we were explained how depression can affect you, your family, and your friends, and how to prevent depression. Go to your local guidance counselor and ask for any help that you possibly might want. We also took a look at interviews of other artists that were also suffered from depression. For example, Pete Wentz, Mary J. Blige, and Ron Artest, and many more. Up next is the weather with Matt Lyng, and sports once again with Kyle Berry.
All right, I'm Matt Lyng with the weather, and right away on Wednesday, we are going to see some showers coming down. High 61, low 52. The next day, though, we're going to see them clearing up. It's going to be some clouds in the sky, but a lot less moisture. And the highs on that day is going to be 63, low 53. Next day, Friday and Saturday, we're actually going to see the sun coming out on a couple of occasions. High 66, low 50 on Friday, and then on Saturday, high 67, low 51. And then on the next day, Sunday, it's going to be a completely different day. We're going to see some showers coming down once again, and we're going to see the high dropping all the way down to 57 and the low down to 44.
Hi, I'm Kyle Berry with your sports report. Today I'll be talking about the BCS top 5 in college football. It's about that time of year when college football teams are starting to align to where they are in the middle of the season. For instance, these top 5 teams right here, what I'll be talking about are teams that are in contention for this year's national championship game down in Miami, Florida. The number 5 team that I've put up here is the University of Oregon, led by a great running back named Kenyon Barner, who is in his second year for the Ducks. Besides their flashy uniforms, I love their defense so much. They are in the top 10 in the country. They have all kinds of speed on both sides of the ball. And the reason why I have them at number 5 is because I believe they haven't faced a team that is good enough to compete with yet. The number 4 team that I have on this list is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They are number 5 in the country and in the BCS polls. Their defense is number 3 in the country in total defense and number 2 in points against, averaging 9.8 points per game, which is really impressive. And that defense is led by senior linebacker Manti Te'o, who's already have over 300 career tackles for the Irish. And their offense is still a work in progress, led by freshman quarterback Everett Golson, who is already thrown for 8 touchdown passes and also rushed for 2 rushing touchdowns. The number 3 team in the country I think has a chance for a national championship is the University of Florida, home of the Gators, led by Jeff Driscoll, who is a junior quarterback for the Gators. He's already thrown for over 10 touchdown passes, and their defense is as mighty as the Mississippi. For their opponents that they faced, they've already faced a great LSU team who they've beat at home by 2 touchdowns. They've also beaten South Carolina, the Gamecocks, who was actually ranked number 3 in the country when the Gators faced them, and they beat down the Gamecocks by 3 touchdowns in that contest as well. In the BCS polls, they are ranked number 2 in the country, but in my list, I have them at number 3. They still need to prove me that they are a national championship football team. And for the top 2 teams that I think have a chance for a national championship, starting with the Kansas State Wildcats. The Kansas State Wildcats have been an inspirational story this year, led by senior quarterback Colin Klein, who is basically a bulldozer when it comes to the red zone, rushing for about 8 touchdowns on the ground and throwing for about 10 touchdowns through the air. Their head coach, Bill Snyder, has returned from retirement and leading the Wildcats to a 7-0 record, and they are ranked number 3 in the BCS polls. If they continue winning like this, including their greatest victories against West Virginia at West Virginia and Oklahoma at Oklahoma, I believe this team has the best chance right now to win the national championship and bring it back to Manhattan, Kansas. And then obviously, the number 1 team in the country in both the AP and BCS polls is the University of Alabama, the Crimson Tide. Their defense, once again, is the number 1 in the country in total defense, points against, and it looks like that they're not stopping at all. Led by the quarterback, A.J. McCarron, their offense is once again one of the greatest offenses in college football right now. If they continue to be dominant as they were last year, I have no doubt that they will be repeating for a national championship this year. I'm Kyle Barry, and that was your sports report. Back to you, Tyrone.
And now a look at our upcoming events coming at the college. And now our story on the Save a Life Tour.
Well, in today's event, the Student Activities is doing a Save a Life Tour. Save a Life Tour is educating students, college students mostly, and adults that come here about drinking and driving. We are taking advantage as being a UMAD, which is University Mothers Against Drunk Driving, with doing a fundraiser, which is a bake sale, all homemade goods by Holly, who's our treasurer for UMAD. All donations are going towards UMAD. Down here at the hallway, which you just missed this is the part that Student Activities is hosting, which is Save a Life Tour, where you're doing a driving simulator to show students what it's like to drink and drive and how your reaction time is. As you can tell, this young lady's doing actually pretty well so far. The turning is a lot more difficult. The steering is difficult. The gas and everything has been made to where it simulates drinking and driving. Outside, we do have information all over the place that teaches drinking is bad while driving. We have the New Jersey State Troopers, which will be outside setting up an impaired vision golf cart simulator. What that means is students at the campus will wear goggles that have been made to illustrate impaired vision while you drive, and we'll be going around this golf cart course to show them what it's actually really like besides being a computerized simulator. That is today's event.
And thank you for joining us today on Skylander Insider. I am your host, Tyrone Williams, and have a good night.